Hi, Statesmen Nation. Welcome to another edition of Inside the Playbook. I am joined today by Jared Goodman as well as Justin Burtis. I'm Wade Steinloggy, and we are going to get right into it. A lot of games from last week, a lot of games next week, and some fun. We'll bring in head coach Jaymee Highcock of the men's soccer team as well as player Luis Amezquita. So that's a little bit down the road. We're going to first talk about last week's games, beginning with football getting back on the winning trail, guys. 34-6 win over Clark last Saturday. Ran the heck out of the ball. 507 yards, season high, 592 overall. Honestly, probably should have had a lot more points than what they came up with. You look at that number, and you only got 5 touchdowns total. That is a little low. It's not evening itself out, but took care of business, beat the first-year Pride at their place, and just like I said, a lot of rushing yards. Archer Charles, 133. Six players total, with at least 40 yards. Alex Grehan, 87 rushing, 72 passing, so nice solid day for senior QB1, all that. Very few turnovers, just 2 for them, 1 for us, but a ton of stinking penalties. We had 158 yards in penalty yards, which is just insane. Not 100% sure that number's accurate, but that's what it has in the stats. So anyhow, we won, got back to winning, and have an opportunity to finish 500 on the year with a win against Culver this weekend. So anything you guys want to add to that?
Yeah, that's not necessarily, yes, they're a very, very young Clark Pride team,
yeah.
but I mean, they've got a couple wins so far. It's their first year. I think everybody's a freshman except for a couple of players, and I talked to a couple of players, a couple of players said, look, those guys are going to be pretty good in a couple of years. Like, there's some quality athletes there. They're just a little bit unexperienced, and, they're younger, a little smaller. They're going up against men that we have on our side of the football. But yeah, good overall effort from the Statesmen. Ran the ball well, stuck to the game plan, took care of the ball. I don't know how many turnovers.
I said just one. We just had one. Yeah.
So took care of the ball. Defense was able to hold them. That's a passing offense. They're going to look to gain yards and chunks, and they're really unable to do that. So credit to the defense and Statesmen football.
Yeah, just nice to get back to winning after such a disappointing senior day.
Yeah. There's just the penalties and a couple weird drives. You have a couple drives in a row where they drive down, punch it in, and a couple where you just kind of stall real quick. But otherwise,
yeah, I think we missed a field goal somewhere in there too. I believe so. Some other points left out on the field.
But otherwise, great effort, and it shows that the guys are still willing to play despite the fact they know that they're not going to finish first in the conference. Right. They're not going to playoffs or anything like that. So finish 500 at the end of the day, right? Next week.
Exactly.
Cool.
Flipping the script here, talking about a team that is playing deeper into the season. Men's soccer starting the conference tournament last Friday against Mid-American Nazarene. Tale of two halves there. Justin, I'll let you talk more about this since you called the game, but we won 5-3, dominated the first half. Second half, just kind of laid an egg, really. But able to hold on easily for the 5-3 victory. A hat trick of 3 goals by Ethan Martinez, his first of his career. Eduardo Benato only got 1 goal. That's all he needed, though, to break the single season goals record with 17. Also broke the points record with 41. So a record that had stood for 15 years. So it's really nice to finally get that one, taken care of. No disrespect to Joe Drupal on that, but Benato's had a great year, and he fully deserved to get that record. And we also break the record for single season wins with 15. So just a great win and advance.
Yeah, they came out strong the first half. They were flying, making great passes, connecting, stringing things together. Martinez made a fantastic run that shrugged off 3 guys and ended up scoring on a nice little chip. Yeah. And it was exactly what you wanted to see this team. You get in the halftime break and thinking, all right, this is good. They gave up 1 at the end of the first half. They're like, whatever, 5-1. We'll keep the pressure on, maybe get 1 more. It should be good to go. Then the second half kind of turned because Medan came out much faster. Scored 2 in a row, but then they took 2 red cards, and that kind of ended things. It was a little even, just kind of playing possession game towards the end. But you certainly are pleased with the way they played in that first half. Yeah, you probably could have said better in the second half, and I think they all would admit that too. But still, great win, first hard tournament win for the school as well, which was much earned and well-deserved for this program.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on then, they take on Grandview last night in the semifinals. A top 15 matchup. We're number 11, they're number 13. Had a great game the first time around. 6-5 win for us in overtime. Unfortunately, last night went the other way in a 1-goal loss, a 2-1. Kenzie DeVisca scored in the 40th minute, and then unfortunately another situation. Not that we dominated the first half, that wasn't the situation, but we had the lead. Then the second half, they just had a great second half, and I don't know, whatever happened there, just didn't work out for us. They scored the equalizer and then the go-ahead goal. Both teams with 12 shots, So very even, I think, on paper, but like I said, story of two different halves, and unfortunately we get ousted in the tournament. Now we're waiting to see where we're going to go for opening round. I don't think there's any doubt that we're there. Now it's just, where are we going? Are we hosting? Are we going somewhere? Are we playing in that first round game? Or are we getting that bye in the 3-team tournament? So
yeah, they played 5 in the midfield, and I think that's one of the few times this entire year we've played equal numbers in the midfield. And because we rely on our wingbacks to be supportive on the edges for defense, they push the ball outside to force them to come scrambling back and force Minton or Avalar or Luis to go cover out wide, and that left a couple gaping holes down the middle that they took advantage of. And despite the fact they only had one striker, they made that 5 in the midfield work. Their back four has been solid. First conference all-team for Kozma, one of their center backs. I talked to their coach. He said after that game that we had up there, they changed how they played their personnel and their formation and whatnot and locked down. They had 7 shutouts, and they played some of the weaker teams in the conference down the stretch. But still, they solidified their defense. It was one of the best in terms of goals allowed. I think it was top half in terms of giving up goals. They only allowed 20 or so. And the second half, they started with their same forwards, and then about 10 minutes in, they switched, and they put a full new front 3 or 4 in, and they just ran.
Yeah.
Speed, and it really pushed our guys on the back foot. We couldn't outmaneuver them in the midfield. We didn't have possession. And towards the end, we couldn't keep the ball in play.
Yeah.
The first half, Donnie Messina had 7 throw-ins from the final third. Second half, only 1. We had no corner kicks.
Right.
We couldn't get it down the field, couldn't earn any set pieces to generate offense. And Shalom Knight had a chance to tie the game. Their keeper, though, came out, made a fantastic diving save. Otherwise, we'd be talking about an overtime game that who knows what would have happened. But defense prevailed instead of offense in the first game of the year between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just from my perspective, it just seemed like in the second half we didn't quite come out that same fight, that same intensity that we've seen so often from this team. It happened in the Mid-Am game too. We just didn't come out that same fight in the second half.
Yeah.
Same, they kind of, I don't want to say took the foot off the gas pedal, but maybe that happens. When you get to this point in the season, you've had a long season. A lot of these guys have played a lot of minutes, and
longest season they've ever had.
Yeah, longest season they've ever had. So, obviously they still got a lot to play for playing the national team.
100%.
I mean, and maybe I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth or anything, but maybe they're thinking about the bigger picture here rather than just winning the Hart Crown. Yes, that would have been amazing. Would have been nice, but
you would have liked a second shot at Central Methodist, but the way they're playing, another game you might get clobbered.
Right.
Versus now
they
getting
we did the first time.
You get a week or so off. You get time to rest, time to get healthy.
Yeah.
Because it would have been a quick turnaround because they would be playing tomorrow at who knows what time, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, and how much would that really change anything in the national picture?
I don't think it would have
really
affected a whole lot.
Yes, you don't like to lose, but once again, there's bigger fish to fry for this team,
100%.
And just having a week off, I think will really do them some good and refresh themselves, refresh their bodies, minds, all that stuff.
Yeah, because if you have to play 2 games of that opening round site, that's back to back, and you're going to need all your energy and all your strength to get to California because it's do or die now.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly where this puts us as far as hosting.
You never know. It all comes down to what that committee is going to say and how impressive our resume versus teams B, C, and D, and
who bid and who did not bid.
And exactly. If you didn't bid, you're not going to get it anyhow. So it's up in the air. I think we have a very good chance to host and a very good chance not to host. I mean, I just don't know.
50-50, really.
I really, believe that's the case.
So
we will see. All right, switching over cross country. They finished up their year at the Hart Championships last Saturday. The women were 10th out of 13. Michaela Kamek, 35th, led the team. The men were 11th out of 12. Vernon Trozy coming back to action, which is a really, really nice thing to hear about that. He had run into some health issues during the year, and unfortunately was able to return. They found out basically he's okay, he can run, and he finishes 28th. A healthy Vernon Trozy, very well would have been maybe in that top 15, 10 to possibly push himself into a national qualifying position, but having not trained much the last 2 weeks, he was still nice to see him finish 28th. So season's over for them. You'll see a lot of those same names. Hopefully doing really well in the indoor season, the outdoor season for track coming up. But they wrap it up in a young team that took some lumps, and hopefully they learned a lot and they can get better for next year. So
yeah, hopefully healthy next year.
Exactly. Yeah, healthy would be a huge improvement for sure. All right, that's wraps it up for the fall. Like I said, we've got men's soccer still going, and football will finish up this week. We'll talk about that later on in the show. Men's basketball.
Yeah, basketball. Last Wednesday it was against William Woods.
Last Saturday.
Last Saturday, sorry. I'm all
Yeah, that's all right.
I'm all out of whack here, but aren't we all?
Yeah, 100%.
William Woods, they went down to Fulton, Missouri. They ended up taking a 98-81 win. Statesmen really just playing Statesmen basketball, pushing the pace, creating turnovers, getting points off those turnovers, and really got some standout performances. I have here 3 players had double doubles, which is incredible. For it just shows how well this team's able to share the ball. Everybody's crashing the boards. Everybody's kind of working so well together right now. We outshot them 44% to 38. And we out-rebounded 54-42. It's kind of been the theme. We've been really dominating the boards in these games. The heart will be a different test, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But Kamari Newman led the way with 26 points. Nathan Gehring, 21 and 11. He had himself, one of his best games in the Statesman uniform here in his early Statesman career. Brandon Faison and Dexter Hood each poured in 15 points while adding 10 and 11 rebounds stretches, so they both finished with double-doubles. Ahmad Pender, we'll talk about him more about next game, but in 10 minutes he provided a spark, 8 points, able to really come in and showcase his athleticism, had a couple steals, and we were able to take care of the basketball really well. We committed just 10 turnovers, which for a team that plays at our pace, and I mean that's incredible. That's something that's unique from this team than years past, and we've had some pretty incredible teams that our ability to take care of the basketball. And then moving forward to last night here in Penn Gymnasium, took on Lincoln. This is a pretty good Lincoln team. This is a Lincoln team that took a game from Graceland. They played twice. They took one and lost one, and both were really close games. But this team is a D2 team that can really compete, and we took it to them really from the start. I think from like the 16:30 mark on in the first half, we led the entire way, and we were able to open up some big leads. Lincoln, they had their short runs, but we were able to put an end to those right away. I have here second half. We started the half on a 17-7 run. That kind of, we had them where we wanted them, and we put it away there early. We outshot them. We shot the ball extremely well, 57% as a team. But Lincoln, give them credit, they shot the ball well too, 47%. We shot 42% from 3. Dexter Hood, 23 points. He was 9 of 12 shooting. He also had 6 boards. Dexter's been incredible so far this year. He's been extremely efficient, good at running the offense, and his ability to crash the boards as a guard is something that you don't see very, very often at this. It's something that we're used to seeing, but something at the NAI level that's very hard to do. And then Ahmad Pender, he had a career night. I mean, what more can you say? He was 8 for 9 from the field, 21 points, and you got some good play out of Chance Crusoe. I was really as a freshman. It was the first time he's gotten like some serious minutes so far this year. He's great for a freshman. He's got a good build to him. He doesn't look like a freshman. His court vision, he committed a couple turnovers, but you can do that when you have a big lead and you can try some things, try to make the perfect pass. And he's young, but it's just testament to his court vision, and he played some tough defense too. And really good win for the Statesmen. Coach Henry, he really liked the way his team was able to really share the ball, crash the boards, and he was really pleased with Ahmad Pender's effort last night.
Yeah, I think Ahmad, something you didn't mention, Eddie Daly was out, and Ahmad had to play in the post to back up Nate Gehring. So when he came off the bench, he came in for Nate Gehring. Not to say that Lincoln was stacked in the post. They weren't. They only really had 2 guys, and they were running short anyhow. I think they were only running about 8 guys total, so limited there. But he's going in the post and doing a lot of damage for a little guy. I mean, he just throwing his body around and being just very savvy and I don't say elusive. That's not what I'm looking for. But he was just able to find the basket, and just get there. And so big props to him. Big props to everybody. Everybody played really well and took care of a team that Lincoln's going to win a lot of games this year. I think they're a little bit banged up here too, but it's a really solid team that we just took care of, and exactly what we needed to do.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point about Ahmad. Ahmad's one of those guys where he proved he could play defense on a post. I mean, he gave up a good 4 or 5 inches, and he plays a lot bigger than. He's what, 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, he just jumps out of the gym.
Yeah,
too,
and he's just such a crazy athlete that he can compete down there in the post, and it's really fun to watch him and Q. Those are 2 of the best athletes you're going to see in the entire NAIA. Q, he also chipped in. He had 17 points, had a really, really good first half, particularly at the end of the first half when the Statesmen started to really build their lead and put their foot on the gas pedal. But overall, good. A couple wins for the Statesmen heading into conference, and obviously conference is going to be a bigger test, but we'll talk more about that later on in the show.
Just say that it was a really good effort, some great 3-point shooting as well from a lot of guys, and Coach Henry talked to us while we were seeing the scores. He was saying, I want to get to this point, and then I want to start bringing some of these other guys to get a look at them, and some of them stepped up, and even Gabe Larkin at the end with like 2 minutes on the board put up 6 points in quick succession. So good for those role guys, and as you mentioned with Gallic Ahmad, now you can say, if need be, I can move a couple pieces around to get a different look to this team if I feel like I need to change something at halftime or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's big. He's going to have to probably play in the post from time to time. We're just not very deep there. That will be our Achilles heel down the road, and showing that he is capable. Great. Awesome. Let's fit you in there along with Eddie when Eddie comes back. Just a little banged up right now, so it's really nice to see.
Gabe Larkin, another one of these freshmen. He does not look like a freshman.
No.
He is big and he is strong.
Yeah.
Coach Henry he's talked about how much he's enjoyed having him on his team and how hard of a worker he is. And he's played just a couple minutes here and there, but he's shown ability to score. Yeah. And he also had a nice dish yesterday. So that led to a dunk.
And I think they wanted to take that 3 at the corner there towards the end.
Yeah, instead he faked it and he drove hard, made a perfect pass. I believe was it Ahmad who ended up finishing it off?
Yeah, I remember the play,
But
good stuff. Bowling teams, they were down in the Quad Cities.
Yeah, Davenport, Moline, and unfortunately, I would say this would be probably the most disappointing finish for them so far. I know Coach Brooks had some positives for each side, but he also said it wasn't what they wanted to finish. The women finished 14th out of, 34 schools overall. They had 8,251 total pins. They ended up 2 pins shy of Baker University, who finished in 13th. So that's a little bit of a bummer when you're single digits from the team in front of you. Just pick up one spare.
In a league team, you'd like to be able to stay ahead of them.
Gabby Evans was the team leader in terms of individual placement, a freshman stepping up. A 182.8 average over 6 games. She finished 54th, and that's kind of the indication of how this wasn't the best tournament. If you're high as 54, we've had a couple of the seniors and some of the other girls finish top half for sure.
Top 10.
So Bailey Palmer turned in a 179.7 average. Alexis Lake 175.3. Nicole Kraft 170.2, and Kayla Gifford had a 180, while Jade Kleinfelter had a 158.5, and just not as much momentum. I'm not sure, didn't really get to ask Coach Brooks if it was in the Baker games, the individual, where things went better, where things didn't go as well, but I'm sure he'll expect a lot of more from them once they retake the lanes in the next month. Men, a little better than the women. They finished in 12th, as they had, how many teams are on that? 46. I wrote that out instead of
That's why you couldn't find 46.
Wow, APA style, know it, people. Anyway.
I switched that to 46. Okay, that's fine.
Anyway.
Never mind. I'm just messing with my GAs over here.
Yeah. 8,755 total pins collected for the Statesmen in the 12th place finish. Brendan Freese, a junior, ended up being the top bowler, 34th out of 429 total people competing. A best of 223, and he had a couple other games over 200 as well, so he had a really good finish himself. Braden Link just missed the top 50, an average of 196.1. Jake Cook, he's straight up 180. Rock Kostrick, an average of 215. Austin Serwinski, a sophomore, also played in 4 games for the Statesmen, average 166. Alexander Kostrick, 3 games, high of 211, an average of 190, and Logan Mason, an average of 165. So some good scores, but again, not per se the best that this team has done all season. I'm sure that Coach Brooks will be looking at them to bounce back for sure. He did also point out, though, there was a couple JV guys who stepped up. They fielded 2 full teams, and Jason Miner led the way, actually finished higher than most of the varsity guys, within 197.8 average and a season best single game high of 244. So pretty good for him. Also, Jeremy Gould put up a 234 his first game, another season best for him. So some bright spots, but just overall not the weekend they were looking for.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this was their 3rd straight weekend, I believe, of competition, which is a little rare for bowling. Normally, I mean, it's just so spread out, and they seem to, on average, go every other weekend. So going 3 straight, that was, I think, pretty tough for them, and it probably wore them out a little bit, being in the hotel rooms as much and just going those long days. So not saying that was the excuse, but just a tougher overall. I mean, and that just shows where this programs are right now, that a top 12 and a top 14 finish are negatives and disappointing. They fully expect to be in the top 5 every time, and and they should be. I mean, there's more than enough talent there to get there, and just had an off weekend, but you'd rather have it in November than March. So they'll bounce back. They'll be fine. The wrestling team, we will have wrestling teams starting maybe next year or the year after, but wrestling team started the year on Thursday, Central duel, and unfortunately Central took care of business, easy 52-0 win against us. Fortunately, guys only had 3 matches that went the distance. There was a lot of pins against the Dutch, so quality D3 opponent there, and we just, according to Coach Scott, we didn't show up, just didn't come to the fight. So came up very short on that one, and then a few nights later, just 2 nights ago for us, Waldorf decided they didn't want to fight at all, and they've been dealing with low numbers the last couple of years. They only have 9 on the roster this year, and only had 5 wrestle against Benedictine, and I guess they said, you know what, if we can only put that many out, we're not going all the way down to Oskaloosa to get our rear ends beaten, so we're just going to stay up in Forest City. They forfeited, got our first win of the year, not the way you want to, but I guess you get a couple more days of rest as you're going into the Grandview Open this weekend. But technically 1-1 over the last week, so we really don't know much about the team at this point with those results. So I think that's it for last week's results. When we come back, good guys, right?
Yeah.
Thumbs up. Okay. When we come back, we'll have Luis Amezquita and Coach Highcock. You are inside the Playbook. Hi Statesman Nation, welcome back, as we are now joined in the studio by head men's soccer coach Jaymee Highcock, as well as senior player Luis Amezquita from Inglewood, California. Guys, thanks for coming in. Hopefully you're warmed up from last night's game. Coach, let's talk about this exceptional season even though the loss last night, hey, we're still playing. We know we don't know 100%, but more than 99.9% sure that we're going to be playing somewhere next weekend. So let's just recap this year to this point.
Yeah, it's been a very good season so far. Obviously our goals going into the season was to make the national tournament, so to possibly almost certainly have achieved that. It's big for us. The goal was to finish in the top 4 in conference and get a home playoff game, and then just to remain in the rankings. So for us to finish 2nd in the conference, and then break into the top 10 in the nation, and then get to the semi-finals in conference. We probably overachieved really on what the goals that we had, and the team has performed above and beyond of what we probably expected as individuals and as a group. But yeah, it's been a very successful season. We've had some great wins, and hopefully we can kick on again, really, for the national tournament.
Right. Luis, I didn't look at your face when the coach said the word overachieved, but I got a feeling that inside your head you're like, we didn't overachieve. We knew exactly what we had coming into this year. I'm putting words in your mouth, obviously, but I know how much you guys believed in yourselves, especially the senior class, a very big, important senior class. Talk about the same thing, where you guys feel like you are at this point. How you feel like this year has gone.
Yeah, I believe we did overachieve, but we still set like a good standard for ourselves. But that's credit to the coaches and the coaching staff, Coach Simon, and Coach Highcock, and the rest of the staff, Yuri and Paul. All the work they put behind closed doors, the practices, the training, the weight sessions, the nutrition, the nutrition they give us outside the pitch, and credit to the boys, everyone on the roster, all the hard work they put in to get to the point that we're at today.
Yeah. Coach, I said we weren't going to talk about last night, and we're not really, but a little bit of a tough question here. Coming off 2 straight losses going into nationals, albeit to teams that are more than likely also going to be joining us in the national tournament field, what's the mindset of this team? And this is kind of for both of you, so I'll let Coach talk about it first. So.
But you got to remember, we won one game in between those two.
Exactly. Sorry. Yes, you're right. 100%. I apologize. Yes. The Mid-American Nazarene win. Yes, obviously.
Yeah, I think it's good for us. We're going to play teams like Missouri Valley and like Grandview in the national tournament, so it's good to get those games in. We did enough in those 2 games to win both of those games, and it puts us in a good physical state now going into the national tournament, because we've had hard games. 2 of our last 3 games, and obviously Mid-American Nazarene were a very tough opposition as well. But it's just what we're going to face from now on out. There's going to be no easy games. Credit to the season that we have had. We knew there was a security that potentially we were in the national tournament, regardless if we won or lost last night. I still think we did enough to win the game last night. But ultimately that should prepare us for the next game. Hopefully we can get a top seed. We're not fully sure on that yet.
Right.
But the results haven't been what we wanted 2 out of the last 3 games, but the performance has been good, and there's enough in our team to really get us to California, which has been our end goal now since about halfway through the season, once we knew we were kicking into the rankings. So the main goal is still there to achieve, and I think these games will have put us in a good position to achieve that goal.
Yeah, definitely. Luis, like I said, same kind of question. Where's the mindset of the team, and also how important was it, I guess, to finish with really tough teams? It's not like you guys just coasted in at the end. You had, again, Missouri Valley at the end, and then, Miriam gave a really tough game, and then Grandview. So going in, you guys, again, are being tested and being prepared, hopefully.
Correct, but that's what the heart brings.
Yeah.
The heart confidence, that's what brings tough matchups every day. It's never going to be an easy game coming into any hard matchup. So I think it's good for us, because going into, hopefully, the national tournament by next week, there's a possibility. That's what's going to bring hard teams, big matchups, big games. So that's great for us to get that experience now at the end of the season, and just get a feel for what's going to come next week.
Right.
Because the game's only going to get harder and harder.
Yeah.
And as a team, as a collective unit, I just feel like we're ready for the challenge, and we're going to give it our all.
Yeah. I'm going to talk personally here with you for a second. All Heart of America Conference again. What does that mean to you to be picked by the coaches as one of the best players in the conference?
That's great for me, but I don't look for those accolades. I'm looking for the hard work we could bring to the school. That's awesome that they recognize me, but at the end of the day, that wasn't my goal. The goal is to make the national tournament, make a name for ourselves, and go deep in the tournament.
Definitely. And that was fully what I expected you to say, but I still wanted to throw it out there. All right, Coach, back to you, talking about nationals and the opportunity to be there. Again, we're putting the cart a bit in front of the horse, but we know what we got here. Talk about, again, you kind of already mentioned, but what does it mean for this program to have reached this goal, this very lofty goal?
I think it's huge. Personally and collectively as a team, you set goals that are maybe higher than what you think that you can achieve, and we knew it was a very high goal. So for us to, as you said, maybe get there, probably get there, is huge. It's huge for the school, it's huge for the program, it's huge for the guys, and it's credit to people like Louise and some of the seniors and some of the people that have stuck around the program to do this. It's a fantastic achievement. We play in the hardest conference in America. We push these guys every day on and off the field. We treat this like a professional soccer club, and they brought into what we're going to do and what we've been trying to do for a number of years. So it is big, and I'm extremely proud of the work everyone's done, not just this season or last season. You know, some of the previous coaches and the players that they've recruited have really helped this program. Some of the seniors that have come and gone in this program have helped to get us to this point. This point of getting to the national tournament hasn't just happened this season. It happened from multiple wins over the last 2-3 years, and it's put us in a high national ranking, it's put us in a high MRPI standing, it's put us on the map. So it is a huge achievement. You know, we're really looking forward to the possibility, and just referring back to something I missed on one of your last questions, what is great is playing in this conference. This conference is harder than the national tournament.
Right.
Believe me. Okay, I certainly know that. It
You're
was. We played. You know, last night a semi-final of a conference tournament was 11v13 in the nation.
Yeah.
The other conference game was 1v18 in the nation.
Right.
I've said to the guys all along, if we can do well in conference, we can. I'm not going to put too much in front of it because we don't know who we're going to get in the draw.
Exactly. Right.
But our conference tournament is harder than the national tournament. I know that. You surely saw last season with Central Methodist and Missouri Valley getting to the final. So it's a huge achievement. I think we've done really well to be in the situation we're in, and I think if we can get a bit of luck in the draw, which is always very important,
Yep.
And we can get the right game at home, we can go far into the national tournament. We've got to win that playing game. We've got to finish the season in California. That's our new goal, and have to finish the season in California. But it's a massive achievement. It's never happened before, and it's a credit to everyone associated with the program, players, staff, alumni, all the operation staff. It's everyone, and we're very lucky to be in this situation, and we really just want to put forward a good account of ourselves in the next game.
Yeah, definitely. Luis, talking about, again, I keep on harping on the senior class, but it's a great senior class, and actually I'll let Jaymee talk about the senior class first, but I will be talking to you in a second. Let me talk to him first. Save your throat there, but talk about the senior class and Luis right there, and how much these guys have meant to this program over the last few years.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, they are the heartbeat of the program, you know. We were very lucky that when Louise and Steve and Donnie and Victor, they were men when we come in. They brought into exactly what we wanted to do. You know, I don't tell these guys often enough how grateful I am for them. They're always up for the battle, which is huge. I would be lying if I said we're a top 10 in the nation team, okay? I think our personality and our character and our mentality has made us a top 10 nation team. I don't think soccer-wise we're a top 10 nation team, and that's not being disrespectful to any players that we have or anything that we're trying to do, but the mentality and the mindset has made these guys exactly who we are and exactly the results we've been getting. So, you know, the boys from California have been great. You know, Joe, Musa, Amgad, AK, these guys have stuck around for the hard times when we were getting beat by Culver Stockton and we were getting beat by Graceland, and you know, we were scraping around.
Right.
And then people like Eduardo and Bernardo and some of the other seniors have added some real quality into the mentality and the mindset that some of the other guys brought, and it's been a really good blend, and they're going to be very difficult to replace, not just on the field as players, but more importantly as people. You know, these guys are always up for the battle. They buy into everything we say, and it's a credit to themselves because they've made this program exactly what it is. I always tell the guys and tell the seniors, as a coaching staff and as a program, we can only do so much. Once you cross that white line, you've got to go and do the things that we've said. Ultimately, you've got to play and win us the game, and they've done that.
Right.
And against teams better than them, much better than them. They've done that in some very difficult environments, and I'm extremely proud of them. And I've said to them all in all the messages that it's just got to end in California. It just has to end there.
That's right. It's got to end in California. I mean, come on. For a few of you guys, I mean, that would be really sweet, wouldn't it? Luis, to be returned back to your home state and have an opportunity to play in front of, I would assume a lot of people are going to come up to Irvine for that game.
Oh,
so
most definitely.
Yeah, definitely. All right, last thing for you before we get into the Furious Four, talking about the senior class, how much of an advantage do you feel like it's going to be? And I guess, you know, Jaymee, you can jump in if you want on this, but how important is it to have such a senior laden class going into nationals? You know, that you guys are obviously playing for the last time, but also knowing, I mean, you're bringing in a lot of experience and just a lot of, being very mature and all that.
No, correct. I feel like you hit the nail right in the head. We bring in a lot of experience. We're grown. We've been through it all, I believe, as a unit, not just as a team, but as a senior unit. I feel like we bring a lot of experience to the younger guys on the team, and we could teach them, we could show them by example for the next coming years, for them to show the next players coming in. It's a generational thing at the end of the day. We have to leave as much advice, experience as we can to the younger guys for the next years, the next recruiting class, to keep this culture, to keep this winning mentality going. But we don't want to just win for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
We want this to be a culture in the school. So if we could leave as much experience and as much as we can to the younger guys, if we just keep it, it will be a generational thing, and the culture of winning will stay at William Penn.
Yeah,
I feel like that's important.
Definitely. Jaymee, anything to add about the senior class and how they will be very important? They've already been very important, but how important they can be going into nationals?
Yeah, I mean, they've got to lead by example. They've got to be the heartbeat of the team. I feel like we have a good relationship with the seniors and the captains. It's their team at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We give them all the tools and everything that we know and do to be successful. But they've got to go and execute. They've got to motivate themselves. They've got to communicate with us if there's any problems. They've got to hold each other accountable, which is the highest standard. And one thing we did learn from the game last night was we need our big players to step up. And I don't think that happened last night, if I'm honestly. I don't think enough players in the squad stepped up, and I don't think enough of our big players and big leaders stepped up last night. And hopefully we got that out of our system now, and when we have another meeting tomorrow and go over the game film from last night, we can really kick in gear for California, and potentially California, but for the next round before we get to California. But yeah, like Louise touched on there, they've got to pass their wisdom on to the guys that will be returning next year, and they've got to lead this program in the best possible standard it can be. It's in the best position it's ever been in now.
Yeah.
But we don't rest on what we have. Okay, success is always short, and we always tell these guys that if you rest on your laurels, then you're never going to get better in life. So we'll quickly move on, and I'm sure Louise can touch on this. Whether we win or lose, we just quickly turn around and get ready for the next one, because that's what it's got to be about. Success has to be short, success has to be sweet, but you've got to be focused on what's next.
Yeah.
And, I think the guys are doing that, and it's a credit to themselves, and hopefully we can just focus on what's next, and that is the national tournament playing game.
Definitely. All right. Okay. You're finishing up here. The Big Furious Four. So thank Jared for the name there. I like to pick on him every single week, and he just sits in the back and just takes it. All right. So 4 questions, ready to go. Okay. What is your biggest fear? Something that you would never do, but if you were asked to do it, what is that fear, and how much money would it take to actually do it?
Wow, that's a good one. Biggest fear, and how much money would it take? Probably swim with sharks.
Okay.
I think that's what I would say.
I like swimming. I like the ocean, but I'm scared of the unknown.
Sure.
And we're going into their territory, and I feel like sharks are pretty scary to me. And how much would it take? Couple million.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, how much is your life worth to you? Because more than likely you're going up against them, and you might not come away with that one. So, all right. Your favorite restaurant, either here in Oski, back home.
Favorite restaurant? It's a sushi place in Seal Beach called Koi.
Okay.
Back home. That's my favorite spot to go to get sushi.
All right, Koi. Okay, I'll have to remember that if I ever get in your neck of the woods. Okay. All right. Who's playing you in a movie about yourself?
Who's playing me in the movie about myself? George Clooney.
Okay. I see it. It's a little bit there. I gotcha. All right. He's way older than you, though, man. You should have picked somebody young.
Oh,
but he's good.
Stud. He's a
yeah,
stud.
he's great. Okay. All right. Last but not least, all right. You just won $1 million. What's the first thing you're buying?
Retire my parents.
Okay.
I don't have to buy anything. I just retire them.
There you go.
And they can do whatever they want with the money.
Okay. Sweet. All right. Thank you guys once again. Luis Amezquita, senior out of Inglewood, California, as well as head men's soccer coach Jaymee Highcock. We'll find out in a matter of just four short days about this time. Where they are heading, maybe staying right here in Oskaloosa for the opening round of Nationals. So if you're unable to watch it, it's on the NAI's Facebook page will be live, or you can also, if you're here, definitely hang out with us. We're going to be having a watch party down in the Atkins Memorial Union. So, all right, thanks so much, guys, and again, great job so far. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Statesman Nation. We're here now to preview next week's games, and one final time in 2019. Let's start off with the football team. Culver Stockton, a very, very pass-heavy team, will be hosting your Statesmen. Final game for 21 seniors looking to, unfortunately, finish what started as a very promising year. Well, before we actually started the year, but a lot of expectations. And now we're looking at 500 as being the high point, and hopefully they can accomplish it. But the Wildcats, like I said, they pass a lot. Second best team in the nation, 297 yards, basically 2-to-1 as far as pass. What they do on offense. They're looking for their first winning season in 2014, so they're looking to get back into the mix. Coach Saleh, I believe is how you say it, is doing a really good job down there, and we're gonna have to stop Corbin Markham as their quarterback. He's got near 3,000 yards, and he's just doing a really good job. What's surprising to me looking at this is you pass as much as they do, like almost 500 passes this year, but yet they only have given up 13 sacks. Like, that's amazing. So
Really
they're
good
doing,
line.
that offensive line is taking care of business and giving him time, and hence probably why they're getting as much success, because they're actually getting more than a few seconds to throw the ball. So really good offensive attack. We're going to have a lot of trouble there, and then defensively they're actually doing a really good job too. One of the best defensive teams, only 270 yards allowed and 109 rushing. Bread and butter for William Penn's rushing, and if they're one of the best out there on the defensive side, yeah, it's going to be a tough game. This team is better than their 5-5 record, I would say. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a rough one. And not a rough one. It's going to be a
It's gonna be a good
difficult
battle.
one. It's
Yeah.
going to be a good
And
battle
really-
to finish off, and that's how you want to end the year. Have a good battle.
Yeah, and really, it's gonna come down to the trenches.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you mentioned those numbers.
100%.
They're a great rushing defensive team. We're a great rushing team.
Yep.
So really, which line is gonna have their way with one another, and if we're able to perhaps get some pressure on their quarterback. I can see us making a couple defensive plays, and really, it's really simple. Go and leave everything out there. I
Yeah.
mean, there's nothing to be left out there. Go win it for the seniors. Seniors step up. Leave it all out there one more time.
Mm-hmm.
And get a win, get some momentum going into next year. If we're able to get back to 500, it's an improvement from last year.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you got to look at it like that, and you got to continue to build and build back, and just you want to end the season on a high note, end it with a win, get some momentum going into next year, and really just do it for the seniors who have really invested a lot into this program, and that's pretty much how I sum it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking for the defense to make a couple turnovers. We've done a pretty good job of that over the course of the season. So however you can scheme it, maybe make him throw a pass that ends up in one of our defensive back-end players' hands and set yourself up. And it will be really interesting to see how the option works as one of the few teams in the heart that runs it.
Right.
Yeah, they don't give up a lot of run yards, but maybe that's because they just see standard I formation looks like that.
Right. And
You
yeah.
never know. Do you know how they played against Peru State?
No, they won handily. I think
Okay.
they beat them 41-7 or 47-7. It's one of the last couple weeks. I can't say that they've faced a lot of running attacks. Maybe they haven't. Maybe it's been a situation that whoever they've been playing, they've just said, you know what, we're just going to pass on you, just the same as you're passing on us. I don't know, but
Yeah.
109 yards is 109 yards. That's all you can say. But yeah, we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see who can come out on top, and one way or another, it's the last game, so hopefully the seniors can have a good showing either way. Like I said, men's soccer, we just mentioned, a couple minutes ago, that they will have a watch party on Monday. Monday at noon, we'll be down in the Chief Mahaska room in the Atkins Union to party on. We're gonna enjoy it. It'll be the first time ever that men's soccer is gonna have their name amongst the national qualifiers. So it'll be fun, and find out if we're gonna be here, if we're gonna be somewhere else. What seed we got. Hopefully it's favorable. But either way, this team's ready to go. They're ready to take on all comers and see what they can do. Do a little talking men's basketball. Excuse me.
Yeah, men's basketball, they'll open up Hart Conference play with a couple of pretty pretty tough matchups.
Yeah.
Benedictine, not the team that they were last year, but they're still ranked number 9 in the nation. Have taken some tough losses here early. But I look forward, this team coming out, kind of a chip on their shoulder a little bit. They got their crown taken away from them,
Yeah.
so they just want to reassert themselves. It's hey, we're here,
Right.
and we're back, and we're better.
Yeah.
And I think the coaching staff will pair them that way. I think they're gonna really, they're gonna really try to cement their foot back at the top of this conference, and I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah.
Against number 9 Benedictine. That would be a great opening win for them in the Heart. And then they will then play Mid-American Nazarene, who's no slouch.
No.
And really, there's no slouch in this conference. Got to bring it night in and night out. Both those teams usually tend to have pretty good size, and they tend to be able to match up with us pretty well. So I'd be curious. We haven't really seen too much size so far this year, as far as guys that have a good mix of size and skill.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting, the guys down low, Nathan Gehring, Eddie Daly, seeing how those guys are able to handle, some bigger, more physical players. And just really the team's just got to continue what they've been doing, sharing the ball well, shooting the ball efficiently, crashing the boards, just typical Statesman stuff. You're gonna hear it a lot all season. You create turnovers, get out in transition, and it's a Statesman show.
Yeah, Dakota Quinn is the big guy for Mid-American Nazarene, and I think he either led or was one of the best shot blockers in the nation last year. And he's just a beast. He's like 6'9", 260 or something. Just a really, really big kid. He's going to be, I'm sure everything's going to run through him. But fortunately, we don't run a lot of offense in the middle or into the post, so that's not going to really, I think, affect us a whole lot. We'll score a lot from the perimeter, and we're fine with that. And then the other way, we're probably just going to double him up and say, somebody else beat us. Mm-hmm. And I think, so we'll see about that game. Again, Benedictine, a team that's started 1-4 off a team that I think only lost one game last year, and it was early, and then they ran like 27 straight wins or something going into nationals before they lost in the second or third round or something. So different team there, and I fully expect the guys to say, you know what, yeah, we want our crown back, and we have to beat Benedictine. That's one of the teams we have to beat, and let's do it. Let's get the Heart started off right. So
and that'll be at home in Oskaloosa, Penn Gymnasium, 4 o'clock.
Yeah, 4 o'clock.
We'll talk about the women here in a second, but we got to get some people out there.
Oh, yeah.
In the Penn Gymnasium, it was. It's starting to pick up a little bit. Last night, a good crowd. I expect, for a conference now thing, Penn Gymnasium is going to be Penn Gymnasium.
Yeah, it's always tough in the start of the year because then you're still dealing with, football of D1 football, so you're getting people stolen away wanting to be in Ames or Iowa City for the Cyclones and the Hawkeyes. And I know the Hawkeyes are at home this weekend, so that'll be a tough fight to just draw people away from Kinnick. But hopefully, we can get a good crowd for both these games. It would mean a lot to the guys and the ladies on Saturday. So, so same respect. The women are playing Benedictine on Saturday, 10 a.m. on next Wednesday. Benedictine, much better team than they were at the end of last year when I think they brought you remember, I think they brought 7 people to our game. They were really sick. They had a big flu go through the team at the end of the year. Didn't have anybody, totally decimated, and I think we beat them by 40. That's a totally different team. They're back to what they were a couple years ago when they made nationals. Started 5-0, but they have started 5-0, but their competition so far has been really weak. So I don't really know how good they are yet. But Coach Williamson said, yeah, they're a good team. They're a really good team. They're going to press us, and we're going to have to play our best game to get 1-0. And then Mid-American Nazarene was the best team in the conference minus us last year. They ended up still having a higher ranking than us, even though we beat them twice. They're going to be extremely hard to play, to defeat, and it'll be down at their place, so even harder. I know they've just reloaded. I mean, I don't think they lost a lot, but they added a bunch of pieces there too. So, and surprisingly, they haven't even played yet this year. They're not playing until this weekend, so we have no idea really what to expect because we haven't seen anything on film yet.
Interesting schedule, huh?
Yeah, they don't have their first game till November 18th. It's worse than a D3 schedule. I mean, that's really late in the year. So, anyway, we'll see, but couldn't come up with almost couldn't find a tougher way to start the season than those two to begin with. But you got to beat them to to be the best. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
and a couple things of note about the ladies. It's going to be interesting how they respond. They will have had 11 days off, I
Yeah.
believe, in between games, and
Someone
and
will
then
say,
you're
yeah.
coming off. Probably you're coming off of a loss, a tough loss, an emotional loss. So how do you respond from that? Luckily, they've kind of had some time to get
Yeah.
back on the ball a little bit. I'm sure they reflected, and Coach Williamson, he's not going to go and feel sorry for himself for his
Yeah,
team.
no.
He's going to get right back
Yeah.
after right in the gym next day,
Yeah.
knowing what they got to do. And they could have very easily beaten. We talked about it a lot last week. They could have very easily beaten Columbia.
Yeah.
Outplayed them in some aspects of the game, but looking forward to the Statesmen to that like you said, we talked about it. That's probably one of the best teams we've faced all year. We took them down to the wire.
Yep.
So. I expect the
And
Statesmen to come out and play well and at least put themselves in an opportunity to get
For
a
sure.
win in each of these two games.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Steve will have them prepared for both games, and hopefully we can at least get one of them and prove that we're right where we were last year again. So, anything you wanted to add on that, Justin?
No, other than they came out, they played a really good game. They should take that momentum. They came up just 3 points short of a top 10 team. There's
Yep.
nothing to be sorry about that. They should come out well. They're going to be down in players still.
Yeah,
but,
Solar banged up for sure.
Otherwise, there's no reason to see why they can't compete, if not win. I don't know much about these other hard teams being the first year here, so I can't add any other details than that. But should be an exciting couple games. And yeah, once conference starts, you can get these heavy hitters, and you have to make it win to count further on. It might be game, what is it, 5? 4 for us? 4?
We're going to 4.
But
yeah.
now all of a sudden it matters just as much as the games a couple months from now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yep.
you got to
Understood.
play to win the game.
Still a lot of new, fresh green pieces for Coach
Yeah.
Williamson. That there's still kind of some I don't want to call it question marks, but
Figuring out where
there's
they
some,
fit.
Yeah, figuring out where everybody fits. Having a couple key players miss that game against Columbia, how do they come back and how do they fit back into
If they're even back.
Yeah, if they're even back.
Yeah. Sure.
Bounce back games for Kate, yes.
Hey, why not? She's a senior. Let's do
Yeah.
it. All right. Then finally, wrestling. They will be at the Grandview Open, the first tournament of the year for the team on Saturday. Always really great competition at that tournament. There's been a lot of good D1s there in the past, a lot of really, really good NAIAs. So, it's going to show where we're at real quick in the season. If we can get some people on the podium, so to speak, that would be great. Just get some victories, and you're again just going to find out how good we are early on and how much we have to improve, or if maybe we're right there. So we'll see. But I think that does it. We're still a couple weeks away from track, so and basically fall is done. So we're right then looking down the pipe of winter now. So. All right, guys, thank you so much. Once again, Jared Goodman, Justin Burtis, I'm Wade Steinloggy. Until next week, go Statesman.